It's Labor Day weekend, and we're set for Chicago Cubs baseball on Comcast Sportsnet. A Cubs icon back here in the friendly confines, now managing the Philadelphia Phillies. It's Ryne Sandberg's Phillies against the Cubs. Hi again, everyone. Along with Jim DeShays, I'm Len Casper. A 6-5 Phillies comeback win in Game 1 yesterday. Partner, the Cubs are in a stretch they've never seen before, facing 4 former Cy Young Award winners in a 5-game span.
Yeah, it's been kind of bizarre, and we'll turn the clock back and take a look first at the L.A. series where they saw Greinke and Kershaw. Greinke, as good as I've ever seen him. Cubs got to Kershaw, actually beat him on Tuesday. Halladay not back to being Roy Halladay yet, but Cliff Lee has been very good again this year. The 08 American League Cy Young Award winner was an all-star again this year. I half expect Steve Carlton to pitch for the Phillies tomorrow.
Well, it'll be Lee today for the Phillies, and Chris Russin, who's been in a very good stretch for the Cubs.
Indeed, he has. Over the last 4 starts, Chris Russin has been very good. A losing record at 1-2 due to a lack of run support, but a .150 ERA in those 4 ball games. He was really good last time out, but look at the numbers Cliff Lee has put up against the Cubs in his career. 6 starts, undefeated, 4-0 with a 177.
Game 2 of a long 9-game homestand. The Cubs right now 17 games under at Wrigley Field. They would like to improve that a lot. Yesterday it was the veteran Michael Young who won the game with a base hit in the 9th inning. Today the Cubs turn to their rookie lefty, Chris Russin. Phillies and Cubs, Game 2 next.
Your Chicago area and Northwest Indiana Lexus dealer, who invites you to test drive a Lexus today. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois. Through it all. BMO Harris Bank, helping money make sense. BMO Harris Bank, NA member FDIC. AT&T Uverse. Visit att.com/freeyourtv. Rethink possible. Ford. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. And by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com.
Anthony Rizzo bobblehead day here at Wrigley Field. We got a huge downpour late in the afternoon yesterday and just some light showers earlier this morning, but we're fine. It's like partly to mostly cloudy. Sun trying to peek through as we get set for the Phillies and the Cubs. Chris Russin will take the mound facing the Phillies for the first time in his career. And let's check out their Southwest starting lineup. Young had 4 hits, including the game winner yesterday. Rollins, Utley, Ruiz. Darren Ruff is in left. John Mayberry had that big throw to nail Deoner Navarro at the plate. He's in right again. Kevin Franzen is at first. Roger Bernardina plays center. Cliff Lee, the pitcher, will hit ninth.
Cubs defensively, a little different look in the outfield with McDonald in left, Gillespie in right. Junior Lake's the center fielder again this afternoon. Murphy, Castro, Barney, Rizzo handle the infield duties. Wellington Castillo behind the plate for our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher, and it's Chris Russ, and he's made 8 big league starts this year. He's pitched well, 2-3, 2.64 ERA. Certainly has pitched his way into the conversation in terms of the Cubs rotation 2014 with the good work he's done so far this year.
Get your umpires. Jim Reynolds, graduate of the University of Connecticut, will call balls and strikes. Davidson, Wolcott, and Hoy are on the bases.
First ever start for Chris Russin against the Phillies. Last time out against San Diego. 6 1/3 of scoreless baseball. Allowed just 3 hits. Walked 4, punched out 3. And left in a scoreless tie. That's the game Andrew Kashner pitched so well for the Padres that ultimately went 15 innings. That man would prefer this one just go 8.5.
Boy, what a turn of events in terms of the weather. One of the hottest days we've ever had here at Wrigley Field yesterday. And it is breezy and mild and fall-like here today. Final day of the month of August. So it's Michael Young to start it. Russin ready to work. And we're underway, ball 1.
Phillies as a team hitting just .227 against left-handed pitching. The Cubs just a little bit better than that. Both of these clubs have had problems with southpaws. And with Russin versus Lee, that is something worth keeping an eye on.
The wind and the pitch. That's a called strike. To make it 2-1. 2,356 career hits for Michael Young, who made his major league debut in 2000. There's another hit, his 5th already in the series. McDonald will get it back in. It's a leadoff single. Well, ideal, I would say. Hitters might not agree with the wind blowing in, but 72 degrees. And that light wind feels good.
Mm-hmm. Young's not a base stealer. He's just a line drive machine.
Switch hitting Jimmy Rollins, batting righty. 2 homers away from a milestone of 200 in his career. Quickly 0-2. Well, the on-base percentage would tell you that Michael Young should hit ahead of Jimmy Rollins. You mentioned Young doesn't steal a lot of bases. Rollins does like to run. I think ideally, if his on-base percentage were a lot better, he would be that leadoff guy in this lineup.
Colorful group here today. Yeah, and I think if you're Ryan Sandberg, you could play it either way. You could lead off Rollins if you valued that speed at the top of the order. I mean, he's one spot different in the batting order.
And he went around for strike 3. That's the first out.
Well, good action on this cut fastball. Good late movement down towards that back foot. And Rollins, who has really struggled from this side of the plate, hitting just .233 right-handed this year, comes up empty on an awkward swing. Trying to check it, could not. Good biting cut fastball down and in.
Bring up Chase Utley, the second baseman. See big numbers against the Cubs. He's Knocked in 6 runs already against the Cubs this year. He's a career .325 hitter against the Cubs. He taps this one to first, and it rolls foul. Kind of see Rizzo doing the calculations in his head. I would assume that's a ball he would rather have stayed fair to get the easy second out.
Yeah, I thought maybe there was a chance he could be a little bit more aggressive coming and get that ball before it went foul. Maybe not, though.
And the way Utley has swung the bat against the Cubs, you definitely take the out where you can get it with him at the plate. Russon's pitch swung on and popped into center. Lake
doesn't see it, or does he?
Now he found it.
Always disconcerting for a pitcher to turn around and see your outfield with his arms up in the air going, I got no clue where this ball is.
Well, especially with his sunglasses on his hat. And you would think if the sun's a problem, he'd put the sunglasses on.
Yeah, yeah, there he goes. He has it.
There we go. That's more like it. See, that C logo on the hat does not need the glasses. Doesn't need to see anything. Not a lot of guys wear the flip downs anymore. I know they're not quite as fashionable as some of the newer sunglasses, but they're very functional. Big month of August for Ruiz. It's the first 25 games this year after a positive amphetamine test. Also 4 weeks on the DL with a hamstring strain.
You can see similar approaches from both these left-handed pitchers today. Lee's made a living with his cut fastball. It's been a big pitch for Russin so far. Ruiz important for the Phillies today because he's one guy who's really taking care of business against lefties, hitting .340 against left-handed pitching this year.
Mentioned the Cubs' struggles at home. The Phillies have not been very good on the road. Even with their win yesterday, they've dropped 15 of 19 away from their home ballpark. In the air to right. Should be no problem for Cole Gillespie, and that's the inning. Leadoff single, no runs. Cubs will go after former Cy Young Award winner Cliff Lee when we come back. Castro in the leadoff spot. 2 doubles yesterday. Darwin Barney's going to hit second. Rizzo, Murphy, Lake, and Castillo in the middle. And against the lefty, you've got McDonald and Gillespie playing the corner outfield spots, batting 7th and 8th, and ahead of Chris Russin.
Phillies defensively. Ruff gets the left field assignment this afternoon. Bernardina center, Mayberry right. Young, Rollins, Utley, Franzen on the infield, and Carlos Chooch Ruiz behind the plate. Our Lexus starting pitcher for the Phillies, All-Star Cliff Lee. He's 11-6 with a 3.07. And tremendous strikeout to walk numbers. That's always the case. Throw strike one as much as anybody in the game. He lives in the strike zone. Doesn't walk many at all. He's allowed 18 home runs. The league hits just 237 against him.
From Benton, Arkansas, he and Travis Wood are close friends in the offseason. And he starts Castro with a strike. Clifton Pfeiffer Lee, 4-time All-Star, Cy Young Award winner in the American League in 2008. Normally among the leaders in fewest walks per 9.
Yeah, and a lot of times you see those guys who don't walk many, they're contact guys, pitch to contact, but Lee could punch you out too. He's above average in terms of his strikeout rate. Strikes out 23% of the batters he faces while walking, but 4%.
He's had a really interesting career, which we'll get into as the day moves along. Castro pops down the right field line, foul territory, and just behind the Phillies bullpen. Phillies without Dominic Brown in their lineup today. Sounds like he's able to pinch hit, but he had to leave with the sore Achilles yesterday that had been bothering him for a while. Pitch number 5 to Castro, and it's 2-2. He had a big breakout year in 2005 with Cleveland. 18-game winner, over 200 innings. In fact, he won 14 games at least from 2004 to 2006. Called strike 3.
He moves the ball in and out as well as anybody. He just freezes Castro here with his cut fastball to the inside corner. You see him moving the ball in and out, up and down, but always on or just around home plate. Very aggressive, works quickly.
Here's Darwin Barney, still looking for his first hit against the Phillies this year. So Lee really solid. We mentioned middle part of the last decade. Then in 2007, he got off to a late start due to abdominal strain. Never could get going. Had an ERA of over 6. Spent some time in the minors. Amid his struggles, that's a fair ball past Young, and it should be a double for Barney. And it is. So he's on the board against the Phillies this year.
And a chance for the Cubs to draw first blood here this afternoon. This time Barney able to get to that cut fastball. You got to be quick, clear that front side. And he does, and yanks it right down the third base line. Lee on the mound, usually a fair amount of action for the third baseman.
Here's Rizzo. He homered yesterday. Walked, scored twice. That was his 21st homer. Nate Scherholtz hit his 20th. So they're the first Cubs left-handed hitting tandem with 20 homers apiece in 40 years. 1973. The last combo to do it. Rick Monday hit 26. Billy Williams had 20. The 0-1. This is low. Go back to Lee, had that bad 07. Then the following year won the Cy Young in the American League. He was the comeback player of the year as well. 22-3.
Led the league in wins, led the league in ERA.
Inside. He's basically been great since. With the low ERA 2 years ago, 2.40.
His story not unlike his teammate Roy Halladay, who we saw yesterday. Halladay, who had success, then hit a wall, went down to the minor leagues, sorted things out, and came back. Has had an unbelievably good career. And Lee's story not dissimilar.
And at this point in his career, he's being paid to be great. Lee making $25 million this year. He'll do that again next year and the year after that, and then has a vesting option for 2016. How about in 06? He made $406,200, then $3 million, $4 million, $6 million, $9 million, 11, 21.5, and now 25. Some pretty good raises.
Turned 35 yesterday. Phillies with the oldest roster in the National League, just a little bit behind the Yankees. So they're getting up there. They're well compensated. They're having a bad year.
A little younger in the dugout, going from the winningest manager in Phillies history, Charlie Manuel, to Ryne Sandberg. Still has the interim tag. The Phillies have won 9 of 15 under Rhino. Making Lee work here in the first inning. 3-2 on Rizzo.
Lee last time out, 8 innings of 5-hit ball, allowed 1 run. Through a little bit of a rough patch in July.
A rare walk. Here comes Donnie Murphy. How about 2010? I mean, 212 and a third innings, 18 walks the whole year. The one he just issued, just the 29th this season. This is his 26th start. Should have an accuracy contest. Adam Wainwright and Cliff Lee.
Murphy has had very little success against Cliff Lee so far.
Big crowd today.
And the thing about Lee, he's not an overpowering guy. Average velocity, 91 miles an hour. That was the change. Throw a 2-seam fastball, a lot of cutters.
He appears to have something in his eye. And ready for the 2-1. Now 3-1. Junior Lake on deck. The old adage, get to a guy like Lee early and you may not have a lot of chances later as he tries to settle in on this somewhat unfamiliar mound. Foul back. It's the 4th career start for Cliff Lee here at Wrigley.
He's been a beast on the road this year. 7-2 with a 2.47 road ERA.
Runners go on the 3-2 and it's fouled back to the net.
Fastball moving in on the hands. This makes him so effective. Just a little subtle movement off the barrel and towards the knuckles a little bit. Gets a lot of weak contact. Better on the road than he has been back at Citizens Bank Ballpark.
Pitch number 23 of the inning. Runners go again. Called strike 3. Barney out at third, and that's it. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Lee. We are scoreless after an inning. Each team with a hit, neither with a run. Ready to go here in the second. Ruff, Mayberry, and Franzen for the Phillies. Ball 1 to Darren Ruff, finishing up this month of August. 9 of his 11 homers have been in August. Russell missed again, about the same spot. 2 balls, no strikes. This from the Detroit area to the University of Kentucky. Got Kentucky against Arkansas today. As Cliff Lee's a former Razorback.
Big SEC matchup.
The 2-1 swing and a miss. 2-2.
Something he does frequently, swing and miss, strikes out a lot, but he's got a lot of power.
Got him. He was frozen on strike 3.
Look familiar?
Yeah, it did.
Castro's at bat in the first. Murphy, so Russin taking a page out of the Cliff Lee playbook. His second punch out.
They say when pitchers face teams for the first time that, you know, the pitcher generally has the advantage till a hitter starts to kind of figure out a pitcher. Did you feel that way when you faced teams that hadn't seen you before?
No, it probably was the case. I never felt it. I never went into a start thinking that I had that advantage and would be able to exploit it.
Backhand by Castro, and he gets Mayberry.
You know what I mean? It's hard to kind of take that mindset into a start. Well, these guys have never seen me, therefore I'm going to pitch a certain way. I think you have to go at it the way you normally do. Here's a nice backhanded play by Castro. Sets up, good strong throw. 2 quick outs.
The Phillies' unsung hero yesterday, Kevin Franzen, who did not start the game. But he certainly had a big impact. He came into a pinch hit in the 6th and picked up a leadoff triple that sparked their 4-run rally, and then he tied the game in the 7th with a home run called by John Lovitz.
Oh, what a piece of work he is, man. Fran's a good role player. Play a lot of different places on the field. Pretty solid as a pinch hitter.
That ball driven out into deep left center. Way back and gone. Franzen's had quite a series. 1-0 Phillies.
Wow. Hiding them down there in the 7-hole in the batting order today. Ball stayed up for him. It's the 4th home run replay. Number 5 for Franzen. And the 4th one allowed by Chris Russin. Looked like a backdoor cutter.
The 14th homer of his career.
He's not going to want to leave town.
And over 1,000 plate appearances.
Backdoor slider or cut fastball. Belt high. Not much depth.
1-1 on Bernardina, playing center. And batting 8th. And he just got hit. That is the second consecutive plate appearance in which he's been plunked. Got hit in the 9th and would come around to score the winning run. And he got hit similar area. It was the upper right arm yesterday, and I think that might have clipped his elbow. Right side as well.
Now Bernardina, a speed guy, capable of stealing a base. You wouldn't think he'd be going here with 2 outs and Cliff Lee batting. They don't want Lee, in case he's thrown out, Lee leading off the next inning, so Bernardina will likely stay put. Lee handles the bat pretty well for a pitcher. $152 this year.
He's got 2 career home runs. They both came in 2011. One was off left-hander Ted Lilly at Dodger Stadium. thing to note about Lee is that this is his second time around with the Phillies. He got traded to the Phillies from Cleveland, trade deadline in 09. To Seattle, to Texas, became a free agent, went back to the Phillies.
Originally signed by the Expos, fourth-round pick of the Expos back in 2000.
I wonder if he and Bernardino were teammates at all in the minors. Bernardino was signed, I believe, in 01. Lee grounds out, and the inning is over. Kevin Franzen, with his second home run of the series, makes it 1-0 Phillies early.
Second, come out next Sunday. That's the 8th, 1 week from tomorrow. 1:20 ball game. The Brewers are in town, and the first 5,000 kids 13 and younger will receive a Cubs chest protector backpack. After the ball game, the first 1,000 kids will have the opportunity to run the bases. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com.
Phillies striking first on a Kevin Franzen home run. I guess the good news is the Cubs have been hitting the long ball here at Wrigley. They've hit at least 2 in each of their last 5 home games, 13 total.
Hasn't added up to many wins.
When you get 5 off Halladay yesterday and you don't win, that stings.
Second time in a week they've blown a big lead like that.
I don't even know what to say about that, and I won't. But I will say, get more cash back when you earn up to 5% back on purchases in categories you choose with the U.S. Bank Cash Plus Visa Signature Card. Apply today at any U.S. Bank branch.
You know, if you have a puppet, you're never alone.
Well,
you've always got somebody to talk to.
I guess the question is, does that person have to buy 2 tickets to the ball game?
Only if they're really committed.
Junior Lake bunts foul. Oh for 5 yesterday. Bit of a rough patch. Hitless in his last 3 games, covering 13 ABs.
You see Ruiz before each pitch, he's looking down at the feet of these right-handed hitters. He wants to see if they're cheating a little bit. They're going to try to open up on that cutter. He sees them moving off the plate. He'll call for the 2-seamer away or off-speed pitch away. There's so much work inside against right-handed hitters. He's always making a note of any adjustments they're making in the box.
The changeup, 1-2.
And good against southpaws. Of course, Cliff Lee's not your garden variety left-hander. One of the best in the business, has been for a good while now. He's 40-27 since putting on the Philly gear. Or I should say in his 2 stints as a Philly. In. Travis Wood, his fellow Arkansan, with a similar approach.
Lined right to the second baseman, Utley.
You an Arkansan or an Arkansan?
I would probably say Arkansan, but I don't know if it's right. That's probably the way I would go. Here comes Wellington Castillo.
Yeah, because if you're from Kansas, you're a Kansan. Therefore, if you're from Arkansas, you should be an Arkansan.
Not a big surprise. There has been a trade today, and there may be a couple of more, because you've got to be in an organization prior to tomorrow to qualify for the postseason roster. And Justin Morneau is now a Pittsburgh Pirate. Alex Presley, the outfielder, goes from the Pirates to the Twins, a player to be named or cash considerations as well.
Good aggressive move by the Buccos. Recently picked up Marlon Byrd, but looking for a little more help.
Morneau with 9 homers this month. He was the AL MVP in '06. Up the middle and through for a base hit.
And Cliff Lee just able to sidestep this one. Like it was headed for the ribs. And quite squared up off the end of the bat a little bit, but still hit it hard enough to get it through the infield for the Cubs' second hit.
Funny how your natural reflexes take over. Lee avoiding that ball, and then once it got past him, I think was upset it didn't hit him. Deflect to one of his infielders. McDonald batting with 1 on and 1 out. That's why guys like Reed Johnson, Chase Utley, they're built differently. Those are guys that pitch comes inside, kind of act like you're getting out of the way, but you don't really. Fernando Vina was like that. Andy Fox. Most people are vacating.
Ron Hunt.
Yeah. Craig Biggio.
And maybe the best I ever saw in that regard was Don Baylor.
There's no fear of getting hit by a pitch. Carlos Quentin. One and 2 on McDonald. I got to bring out my Tommy Hutton note before the Marlins come here. The cutoff by Young. Throw to first. Late. McDonald with an infield hit. Nice hustle.
You see this a lot. Third basemen are taught to get everything they can moving in that direction, but a lot of times it looks like the shortstop would have had a better chance of making the play. Rollins with a little momentum moving toward the baseball would have been able to get a little more on the throw and would have gotten it off a little bit more quickly, in my estimation.
So 2 on for Cole Gillespie. So Tommy Hutton will play 12 years in the big leagues. First baseman and pinch hitter. He accumulated 1,920 career plate appearances. Want to know how many times he was hit by a pitch?
Well, I'm going to go with a really small number. Somewhere between 0 and 1.
0. Isn't that amazing?
He was elusive.
Time called, no pitch.
And what's Tommy's explanation for that?
Well, you know, I don't remember what it is. I'll ask him again when we see them in a few days.
Pitchers were afraid he would come out there and snap their heads off.
No, my guess would be he would say, I didn't want to get hit by a pitch. I wanted to hit a home run. That's a base hit. Castillo coming around third. He's going to be sent to the plate, and we're tied at 1. Third RBI for Cole Gillespie.
He hasn't had a lot of chances, but he's had some good at-bats lately. And he's able to get the head out front of that cut fastball, cut it off before it gets in on the hands. He's making some noise at the bottom of the order. Good turn by Castillo. We're all square. Russing up there to drop down a bunt.
Oh, and 2. Things that make you go. He gets down the 2-strike bunt. He will get it to Utley. Runners at second and third for Castro.
And the was, I wonder why he wasn't bunting on 0-1, but all's well that ends well. Proven to be a very good 2-strike bunter. Better not lollygag because Russin runs well. Good athlete. Ooh, look at this, a super slow ball. This is pretty. Probably wasn't a strike.
That is the greatest technological development in television in terms of baseball. I love that shot.
I thought you were going to say all time, and I said no, that would have been the toaster. And then super slow-mo, okay. I think. Probably 1-2.
Now, would you go toaster oven or just plain old
just,
toaster?
Well, toaster, you know, and then you might argue that the toaster oven is an upgrade.
Run in to tie it, 2 outs. Chance here to take the lead. Ball 1 on Castro. AT&T U-verse multi-view. 3 consecutive singles near the bottom of the order, allowing the Cubs to tie the game. Castro went out of the strike zone, 1-2.
It's a little jumpy with 2 strikes. Backdoor breaking ball never comes back to the corner. Castro willing to take a whack at it anyway. potential for a lot of anxiety here for a hitter. 2 strikes, couple guys in scoring position. Hard to be patient in this situation. Rare breaking ball from Lee. He's got a good one, doesn't use it all that often. Look at his year by year, this pitch selection, he's come to lean more heavily on that cutter year by year.
In the air. Bernardina in right center will end the inning. Cubs get 1 on the Gillespie RBI single, and it's 1-1 at the end of 2. Here at Wrigley Field. Join the Cubs as we salute students, alumni, and fans of the Big Ten. The 2nd annual salute to the Big Ten, and the Budweiser Bleacher ticket package includes a special edition Cubs hat in your favorite Big Ten school's colors. Go to Cubs.com/special events for details.
Hey, Gavin's at his first game. Need to get Gavin a W here.
Second time through the order for Chris Russin. Michael Young, who's 5 for 6 in the series, takes ball 1. Couple of games played earlier today. Finals in the American League. Details later. Blue Jays beat the Royals 4-2. Yankees shut out the Orioles 2-0. Charged by Murphy. And he will get Michael Young. Mentioned the Pirates making that deal today with the Twins. Pittsburgh last night starting that big series at home against the Cardinals, winning 5-0. So identical 78 and 56 records leading the division.
Liriano with a heck of a game for the Pirates last night.
Castro will get his counterpart. Jimmy Rollins, 2 quick outs.
Lance Lynn, A.J. Burnett today in that Cardinal Pirate matchup.
Send us your comments on today's game through Twitter using hashtag Cubs Talk. We will read one back later on, and we call it our AT&T tweet. I'm fighting a losing battle in terms of the postseason. We're adding, not subtracting. playoff participants. But am I out of line for saying that some of the races are diminished by the fact that there are so many, and with 2 wild cards, it almost gets a little confusing to figure out
who's where and who's got a chance.
Yeah, you have to do a little homework on a daily basis. I understand why they added the wild cards, but sometimes a good old-fashioned pennant race is
right. Now,
all those 3 teams at the top could all make it.
Yep. So yeah, that's the trade-off. More towns, more people with a chance to have postseason baseball in their home ballpark. People stay engaged a little bit longer in the season, but I think you do miss out on those great pennant races where it's win or go home.
And barring something miraculous at this point, the Pirates and Cardinals are in. And they have about a 9.5 game cushion over the Arizona Diamondbacks.
And so just think how much drama there would be in that race if there were no wild card.
Murphy can't get Utley as Rizzo whiffed on it. That'll be an error on Anthony Rizzo.
Boy, extending what was going to be a very quick, very efficient 3-up, 3-down inning for Chris Russin with 3 ground ball outs. And we'll see if we can see anything here other than just a whiff. Nope.
Took his eye off it.
Russin's 2/3 of the way to the dugout. Very composed out there. So no hands in the air. No, you got to be kidding me. Look about him. All right, I got to get one more out. Let's go get it. Pick up your teammate. Ooh. Squeezed a little bit.
Anthony here looking for the bag with a foot. See him look down at where his foot was. Took his eye off the ball. Just a split second. Swing and a miss. It's 2-1. Fastball count, and he didn't get one. They got Utley here, but a bad throw by Rizzo. This has been a rough and forgettable defensive inning here for Anthony Rizzo.
Utley goes on first move. Russin not real quick, and as a left-handed pitcher, you don't have to be real quick. But what that allowed to happen was Utley to get a little further along towards second base, creating a tough angle for Rizzo making that throw. Ideally, you'd like to close that gap. Maybe Anthony could have been more aggressive coming towards Rizzo, or Russin rather, to get the throw. Then he would have the angle already established. If you wait and get the throw at the bag, you really don't have much room to make that throw to second base.
That is not an error on Rizzo. It's a stolen base for Utley. Ruiz fouled that one, I think, off his back leg or foot. The reason Rizzo doesn't get an error in the official score's mind, wasn't quite sure if he would have been safer out either way, although this throw looks like he would have been out with a good one.
Yeah, and I don't know if he would have had time to take one more step inside to create a better throwing lane. He and Barney are talking it over now. That's as a first baseman, what you want to do is really come hard towards the pitcher to create a better throwing angle for yourself. See Utley, he's sliding inside. He knows what's going on. He knows the throw's been made to first base, so he takes that angle away from Rizzo by taking a more inside path.
Also looked like a little bit of a two-seamer. So 2-2 on Ruiz. Phillies here playing with house money in this inning. Utley stealing second, a chance to retake the lead after the 2-out error by Rizzo.
Ruiz, the guy the Phils want to have up in this situation with the work he's done against lefties this year.
Drilled fair. And the Phillies do take advantage. Ruiz with a double, and it's now 2-1.
A lot of Philly fans here. You hear the chooch, probably mixed in with some boos from the Cubs fan. Gets the hands in, the head out. 84-mile-an-hour cut fastball whacked into the left field corner. Unearned run, Philly lead. Bosio to the mound to have a chat with his young lefty. Make plans to attend the 29th annual Cubs convention this offseason. It's your chance to meet former, current, and future Cubs players through autograph sessions, Q&A panels, interactive experiences, and more. Book your room today at the Sheraton Chicago Hotel and Towers by calling and asking for the Cubs convention rate or by visiting cubsconvention.com.
Here's Ruff. .6'3", 220 from Omaha, Nebraska. And he went to Creighton. And the 0-1 pitch is low. Jerko looked impressive last weekend. Donnie Murphy got a huge month.
Ruff hit 38 home runs for Double-A Reading last year.
I want to say he went wrists turned over, but Nelson couldn't get the call.
I think he did get the call.
Oh, he did?
I think so.
Oh, okay. Even better.
Yeah, I think, as Castillo was asking for the appeal, Jim Reynolds was already kind of called it late.
I was looking at
Yeah,
first.
he never checked.
Saw no reaction from Bob Davidson.
Ooh, look out. Ugly finder.
So Russon's going to end up making at least a dozen pitches after the error. These things do happen, but that's like an inning.
Yeah, that's a fair bit of extra work, and mentally, a play like that, he was checked out. He was done. He was in the dugout mentally. That's not to take him off the hook for the Ruiz at batter for whatever happens here.
It's through Castillo. Throw to third late. It's a wild pitch on Russin.
Now you have to have the ability to pitch around errors, but that is part of the challenge. This ball quickly back to Castillo. You cannot afford to take anything for granted on the bases.
Full count, 3-2. Mayberry is on deck. After that, Mount Pilot.
Now Barney.
Yes, we do. Whenever we can drop an Andy Griffith reference in, we always take the opportunity. Ball 4.
Just a real discernible show of frustration from Russin that we've seen. He's very composed out there.
First and third. Mayberry 0 for 5 in the series. And wide for ball 1. Popped up. When pushing that ball into foul ground, and Rizzo makes a catch to finally end the inning. An unearned run, and the Phillies have their second lead here early on. It's 2-1.
Stanton and the Florida Marlins. Coverage from the ballpark begins at 6:30 with Sportsnet Central. Don't miss Cubs Marlins Tuesday night at 7 on Comcast Sports Net.
2-1. The Phillies have the lead. crowd here today. Lee to Barney, who shows bunt, pulls it back, takes a strike. Side, it's 2-1.
Barney hit that double down the left field line. His first time up. Michael Young, the third baseman, was even with the bag and off the line a little bit. Now he's back and a little bit tighter to the third base line.
Soft liner right to Bernardina. Grinds coffee pouches. Get the product that players use and visit getgrinds.com today. Rizzo, after that error, will try to atone. He walked in his first trip to the plate. But it's probably best just to separate the two, right? Defense and offense. Don't have to do too much.
Yeah, you don't want to go up there and just get reckless because you made a mistake in the field and start flailing away.
Franzen unassisted. Two outs, it's Donnie Murphy. Donald Rex Murphy, but everybody calls him Donnie.
How about Murph?
I should ask him.
Never knew a Murphy who didn't go by Murph at some point.
Gotta be, right? With the Royals, the A's, the Marlins, Cubs. Played in Spokane, Burlington, Wilmington, Wichita, Sacramento, Stockton, Jupiter, the city, not the planet, New Orleans, Des Moines, Norfolk.
Baseball Odyssey,
I've been everywhere, man.
Yep.
It's Donnie Murphy. Away from Michael Young, and the Cubs inning is alive on an error by the Phillies third baseman.
And Michael Young's bat has always been significantly better than his glove. It's the backhanded chance, and now the Cubs with a chance to take advantage of a miscue.
Yeah, Young has gone from second to short to third to DH to third and first. Moved around a lot. Lake drills that one into left. Ruff plays it on a bounce. Little slip out there, and Murphy will head to third. Boy, an error-filled game. 3 of them here the last couple of innings. It'll be a single and an error on Ruff.
Yeah, Ruff, little moisture in the outfield after the earlier rains, has that back foot kick out on him as he plants and gets ready to make the throw. Murphy had shut it down, as you'll see, and then restarts.
No, nobody can speak to working around miscues by your defense better than you can as a former starting pitcher, and everybody handles it differently. You'd like to think you don't worry about things out of your control, but that's not human nature for the most part.
Well, you always, and if a pitcher tells you otherwise, he's lying. When there's a misplay behind you, you always have that moment of, you got to be kidding me. But then you have to clear your mind and say, okay, it's my job as a teammate to pick my guy up here. You see it as an opportunity, kind of be the knight in shining armor, to come to the rescue when things are kind of crumbling around you.
Well, because the other part of it is, and I'm sure these arguments have happened behind closed doors over the years in different clubhouses. The pitcher who yells at the shortstop, how could you not make that play? And the shortstop yells back, how about the 6 plays I made in your last start? You didn't say anything about those. So it does go both ways. Defense will bail out pitchers. Pitchers bail out defenses. Inside, and it's 2-2.
Yeah, and that's a tough error on Ruff there. I mean, he was just trying to set his feet to make a throw, and he slipped. But you have to account for the base runner getting to third base. I guess the question is, could Junior of Lake gotten himself into scoring position on that play?
Just foul.
Yeah, and in the heat of the battle, it's fun because I've heard some arguments. I've seen infielders come up to pitchers in between innings and apologize, and that's probably the last thing you want to do because a lot of times the pitcher will just bite your head off. Don't tell me you're sorry, just catch the ball. Alternatively, sometimes you'll see the pitcher approach the player. Hang with him, man. Don't worry about it. Could have been.
Three and two. Lake on the move. A flare into right. And a base hit. So after the Phillies took advantage of the Rizzo error, the Cubs have jumped on the Phillies here after the Young error. And it's 2-2.
And now, if you're Cliff Lee, you're really starting to steam because not only have you had the misplays behind you, but now this little flare, it's not a misplay by any means, but a bit of bad luck from his point of view. Soft contact, finds the outfield grass.
Still first and third. This time Lake's at third after Murphy scored. And Castillo, the runner, at first. Wellington 2 for 2 today. Huge foul.
And if you're evaluating pitching, what you want to see is a guy just maintain his same approach regardless of what's happening behind him. Continue to make pitches. Don't let the frustration change his approach. I've seen a number of pitchers over the years when things start to go against them, they'll stop competing. They'll just start pumping fastballs over the heart of the plate. As if to say, well, you're not trying, I'm not going to try. Which is really absurd. Phillies have had a hard time scoring runs all year. Reflected there in that line on Lee.
Part of the order produced the first run. 3 straight singles in the second. Now 3-1.
Donald's been pretty good against lefties in his big league career. Ooh, didn't have to be. Cutter, bottom of the knee, certainly on the plate. So again, that's borderline low. Last time it was a ball, this time on 3-1. It's a strike.
Castillo runs in the hole, backhanded by Rollins. Long throw, good stretch by Franzen, and they get McDonald. The Cubs get an unearned tally, and we're tied at 2. Doritos Locos Tacos from Taco Bell. Liv Moss. Great to see the Menards grounds crew. Not as busy as we thought they might be. Saw some rain late in the morning. Jim, let's see what's going on here. Jim Reynolds went over to the Cubs dugout. Sure exactly what the discussion was.
They're still talking.
Dale's really getting animated now. I hope you're not a lip reader at home.
Three-one pitch to McDonald, probably. Started that conversation, I'm guessing.
Pitch here. Russin stopped mid windup. And that hit him in the foot. Neither starter's really gotten into a groove.
toe.
Bernardina by a pitch in his first plate appearance. Astros shaded up the middle. Murphy playing right in the base path off the third base line. And a ground ball to Rizzo. The throw to Castro for one. The relay, no.
Close to first base. Bernardino really runs well, and Rizzo, after the previous errant throw, making sure on this one took a little extra time to make sure he made a good, accurate throw to Castro. Bernardino just able to beat that return throw. Two long throws, tough to complete a double play with a guy like Bernardino going down the line.
Murphy now in on the grass with the pitcher Lee at the plate. Is Cliff Lee's jersey soaked? It's darker than his pants. Squares again. Pretty hard bunt. They'll get one, but not two. With that lead man, so it'll be a fielder's choice for Lee.
We talked about Russon's athleticism earlier, and you see it on display here. Quickly on that bunt. Quick feet, good throw. Castro might have had a shot at completing the double play. Like he was happy to get out of Dodge and get that out at second base, but he might have had a shot at Lee on a double play.
Pitch to Young, served into right. And it gets past Gillespie, and now Lee's going to be sent. Young all the way to third, and it's 3-2 Phillies.
Well, Young has been a doubles machine throughout his career. I'm not sure how this will be scored because it's another slip. I guess if you're going to call an error on Ruff, you might have to give an error on Gillespie on that slip, allowing Young to get to third.
I guess because he didn't have the ball. Bob Rosenberg calls it a triple. It's not been the smoothest of days off defensively for these two teams. Phillies now leading again for the third time.
Boy, you go middle away with any consistency on Michael Young, and you're asking for trouble. He is so good going the other way. Not to say he can't pull an inside pitch, but he's a lot better middle away. Sixth hit of the series for Young.
Second walk issued by Russin. Here comes Utley.
Well, under the category of atonement, then Young has the lead. He was able to atone for his error quickly.
Mary Helen and Bob Burns are celebrating 50 years of marital bliss here at the ballpark today. Congrats. Strike called on a cutter to Utley, UCLA product. Utley born in Pasadena, California. Beautiful area.
Home of the Rose Bowl, the Rose Parade, and all that good stuff. Utley, and this is a bit of a reach, but if he could stay healthy, string together 3 or 4 more good years, he might enter that Hall of Fame conversation.
Career .872 OPS as a second baseman. Yep. Right to Rizzo, and that'll end the inning. But the Phillies take their third lead of the game, and we're only in the fourth. It's 3-2. Anthony Rizzo just taking his eyes off the ball momentarily. Michael Young with an error. A little slip out there by Darren Ruff. A matter of about 10 minutes. 3 errors. This one not an error as Gillespie got his foot stuck right near the sidewall on the triple by Michael Young. So 3-2 Phillies.
One of those days, isn't it? Just has a weird vibe about it.
Gillespie, Russin, and Castro due up for the Cubs here in the fourth.
Our night game, we'd be looking for the full moon.
Well, as Lee gets ready for his fourth inning of work today, the Phillies did agree to a deal with Cuban right-hander Miguel Alfredo Gonzalez. Originally was going to get a 6-year deal, but Phillies then reportedly had some issues with medical reports. I guess he had an elbow issue. So about a month later, he gets a 3-year contract worth $12 million. Has an option for 2017. He's 26 years old, so it may not take him long to pitch at this level. Maybe at the beginning of next year. Defected to Mexico earlier this year.
Yeah, when the the conversations first started between he and the Phillies, there was talk about him being in the rotation this year, and then the injuries and the delayed things. Now he's down at their spring training headquarters in Clearwater. Apparently will not pitch for the Phils this year. They project him as a solid middle of the rotation guy.
Two ball, one strike count on Gillespie. He knocked in the tying run in the second. Pop foul out of play. High chopper to Utley. Barehanded play. Got him. What an adjustment. That ball kicked a little bit to Utley's right, forcing him to barehand it. And he got his man.
Yeah, pretty play here by Chase Utley. He's had some problems defensively this year. He's committed 15 errors, but this is pretty slick here. Watch the ball kick away from him, and he snags it and immediately unloads. Quick move he made to the right kind of allows him to plant on his back foot as he's grabbing the baseball. So no further action needed. He slings it over there to first, and they
didn't. Like he was safe.
Yeah. Everybody's having a rough day today.
Rainbow to center, Bernardina underneath. Edinson Volquez out of work for what, about a week? Signed with the Dodgers.
So they were talking to him.
And in their bullpen. And the Dodgers are hosting the Padres this weekend. He pitched a scoreless inning last night. Dodgers won the game 9-2. He pitched the 8th. And guess who had 4 hits?
Yeah.
2 stolen bases. Yasiel Puig, who was benched during that game against the Cubs the other day.
And the last time he was benched was for being late in Miami, and he came off the bench and hit a home run in that game. So I think just the good, timely benchings are key for Yasiel Puig. He responds.
That will be a fair ball for Castro. Starlin with his 3rd double in the series.
A great look there with Ruiz set up inside. It was inner half, but didn't get in on the hands of Castro like they wanted to, and delivers a good solid line drive, double the other way.
We experienced a little bit of this when we were in the Bay Area. The Tampa Bay Rays, before losing 4-3 last night, had a heck of a time getting from San Francisco, their hotel, to the Coliseum in Oakland. David Price took a $202 cab ride.
Just reading that.
Team bus took an hour 45 minutes.
Bay Bridge is closed, or was closed.
Had to go over the San Mateo Bridge instead.
When we were there, the BART was on strike, so everybody was driving to and from, and creating a mess with the traffic situation in the Bay Area. BART is the Bay Area Rapid Transit, the subway.
Joe Madden joked, he said, I had the movie Anchorman ready to go. I should have played it. Could have seen the whole movie on the bus trip from the hotel to the ballpark. 2-1. He's set. The kick, the pitch, 3-1. He's worked behind in the count a fair amount here in this one. Only one walk. That was to Rizzo in the first.
He's issued no walks in 27% of his career starts. It's just
amazing.
Remarkable statistic.
Second walk of the day. Now you go back to April 20th against St. Louis. He walked 3 batters, went 5 innings. That snapped a modern era record, which he shattered. He had 20 consecutive starts of at least 6 innings with 1 walk or no walks. The previous record was 14.
MLB.com At Bat is your #1 mobile app for live baseball. Available for iPhone, iPad, Android, and BlackBerry 10. At Bat delivers Cubs baseball with live audio, pitch tracking, stats, highlights, and more. Text At Bat to 31826 or visit Cubs.com for details.
So what he did right there with that walk to Barney, that's the second walk of the day. Only 44% of his career starts have featured 2 or more walks. 56%, 0 or 1.
He would argue, looking at that replay, that it shouldn't have been a walk. Jim Reynolds has been hard to pin down back there today with that low strike. Sometimes he calls it, other times he does not.
So Castro's at second after the double. Barney is at first following the walk. And Rizzo asked for time, didn't get it, and the pitch is a ball.
Looking for a little magic here on his bobblehead day.
And throw behind Castro, and the ball blocked by Rollins. Utley will pick it up.
Castro spun his wheels a little bit on his break back to second base.
One and one on Rizzo. Got in on him. Softly hit grounder to first, and the inning comes to an end. It's been a grind for Lee. Almost 90 pitches for him through 4, but he does have a 3-2 lead. The life of Team USA's leading lady with Inside Look, Jenny Finch. Hear her take on PEDs, learn why Chicago has a special place in her heart, see how Finch has raised the profile of her sport worldwide. Watch Inside Look, Jenny Finch, Tuesday night at 11 on Comcast Sportsnet. Phillies leading 3-2. Batting here in the 5th against Chris Russin. Facing them for the first time.
Well, it's been kind of a sloppy game so far.
Sluggish and sloppy.
But we're in the 5th. It's a one-run game. Chance for some drama here in the later innings.
Ruiz taps one past the pitcher. Castro will pick it up. That neat little throw where the ball is just a few inches off the ground when it left his hand. Quick exchange.
Pretty play. You know, he's at his best on the reaction plays. We saw him make the play in the hole earlier. The other day made a great play up the middle. This time he has to charge and unload. Sometimes when he has more time, he gets a little mechanical and a little out of sync.
Not a lot of wasted letters in that name. Only one R in Darren, only one F in Ruff. I think it helps the planet when we conserve letters.
So many.
One and two the count.
Well, for a 20th round pick out of Creighton. Bob Gibson played at Creighton. As did former Cub Scott Service.
Count is full.
Change up, down and away. Nope. Cut her in. Second time he has walked today.
Qdoba Mexican Grill wants to spread its 3 cheese queso love to the Chicagoland area. Opt into Qdoba's mobile club by texting Q to 50500 and receive free chips and queso. One out walk to Ruff. Mayberry takes a strike. So we had John Lovitz with us yesterday, and he referenced the Phillies and said it's not a female horse. Well, actually, the Phillies nickname, you know what it comes from?
I would have guessed the city.
That's correct. They were originally the Quakers, but then the team became known as the Philadelphias. Most teams took on the name of their city at the time, but that was a little too long for the newspapers, so it just became the Phillies.
Aren't they the Robins at one point in their history? Back in the day, teams used to take on these kind of secondary nicknames.
No, they were not.
They were not. Somebody was.
Yes.
Dodgers, maybe. Were they the Blue Jays at one point?
Yes, they were. Yep. mid-40s.
There was some kind of a bird.
The Dodgers were known as the Robins, yes. And a young female horse, filly, that's with an F too, not PH. So basically they're the Phillies. High in the air, left center. Mayberry just missed one, gets under it. And Lake makes a catch. You want to go by franchise record, the Phillies, I suppose, could be the lovable losers. They're like over 1,000 games under 500 all time.
They were the first to 10,000 losses.
They lost 23 in a row in 1961. Strike on Kevin Franzen. A home run and a hit by pitch. Whenever you see Phillies offensive records, you're bound to run into Ed Delahanty's name. Hit over 400 3 different times. This was back, late 1800s?
Big Ed.
I suppose the best official name of the team would probably be just the Phillies, not the Philadelphia Phillies. It's kind of redundant.
Or the Fightins.
The Fightin' Phils. Russins 1-2. Swing and a miss. He got him. And the inning is over. Halfway home, it's 3-2 Phillies. Cubs will have 4, 5, and 6. Murphy, Lake, and Castillo against Cliff Lee, who's had to make a ton of pitches here in the first 4 innings. 87 as he starts the bottom of the 5th. Chris Russin at 84 pitches through 5.
Ouch.
Banged off the mask of Ruiz.
Interesting to contrast these two clubs. You got the Phillies, who have had so much success in recent years. All these veterans, tremendously high payroll, trying to hang on for one more run. And then you got the Cubs, who are in this rebuilding phase. They're trying to get younger. There's been some discussion as to whether the Phillies would go in that direction. Obviously, that is not the case. I mean, they may to a degree, but you know, Utley, Rollins, Halladay if he comes back, Lee, these guys are all 34, 35. Ruiz is 34.
It can be a painful process when you do have an older club. Guys' numbers start to decline. When can you cut the cord? Can you pare some of that payroll and get younger? Murphy turns on one and finds the left field corner. That's a leadoff double.
Again, it's the ability to get the bat head out in front of that cut fastball. Most hitters would tell you to get to that cutter. If Lee throws it where he wants it, you've got to be looking, you've got to be cheating in there.
Cornermen in. Lake likes to bunt for hits. Squares. And hit it foul.
And this is a situation where the Phillies are thinking, well, maybe he's going to bunt him just to push him along. So they're tightened up at the corners. That makes bunting for a hit a little bit tougher here. I have no problem with the play. I just don't want to see him give himself up just to advance his base runner at this stage of the game. Not with how good he has been against left-handed pitching this year.
Steve Green, Cubs team photographer on the scoreboard. I like it. Another foul bunt.
And I'm not saying this as a point of admiration or derision, but I think Junior Lake has bunted at one-strike pitches more often than any hitter I've seen in my entire baseball career. Kind of like the outside of the box approach that he has.
That's going to get into left. Murphy's going to be held with nobody out. They're at the corners for Castillo.
Hits tend to come in bunches for Junior. Line out first time, but base hits each of the last 2 at bats. Ball was in on him. He was just able to squirt it beyond the reach of Michael Young. See, Murphy has to hesitate, make sure the ball gets through. And he gets a stop sign from David Bell. This game's somewhat reminiscent of the Kershaw game the other day in Dodger Stadium. The Cubs are really laying into Cliff Lee here.
Open bat, and the ball goes foul, and the bat ended up almost all the way out into the Cubs bullpen. It was part of that shattered piece of lumber.
Yeah, it's pretty good carry here on this broken bat. Watch the head of the bat go flying through the air. See it here in super slow-mo. Way down towards the label. But, you know, they've been able to work counts. They've had good at-bats. They're getting their base hits. Certainly taking advantage of that 2-out error in the third helps.
What if they changed the rule and said you only get one bat per plate appearance? Which would probably be really dangerous. But what if he had to hit with
whatever you got left?
Yeah.
You could choose to either continue your at bat or just forfeit it.
Swing and a miss. Big strikeout for Lee. That's out number one. That is his first strikeout since the first inning. Zach Minor. And yesterday he's up. So is Carlos Villanueva for the Cubs. Phillies a double play depth up the middle. Tying run at third. That's Murphy. Lake over there at first. Roster's allowed to expand to 40. Starting tomorrow, September 1st. Pretty good chance we'll see Ryan Sweeney activated from the disabled list. And over the following few days, we'll see a few guys come from Iowa once the iCubs season comes to an end. Luis Valbuena won't be far behind Sweeney. Two and 0 on McDonald. The pitch. 2-1.
When you turn it loose 2-0, you don't want to get cheated. Pretty healthy cut, but good action on the cut fastball. Continue to pound in there and see if he comes off it now. Those last two pitches, same exact spot.
A little bit high, and it's full 3-2. Imagine Lake will be running. Try to stay out of a double play on this 3-2.
Well, McDonald has 19 career major league home runs. 2 off David Price. He's got Kershaw, Sabathia, and some pretty good lefties.
Lake not running. Ball 4 to load him up.
support group gathering on the mound. Real-time info including pitcher gas gauge, stats, tweets with Cubs in-game live only at CSNChicago.com. Brought to you by Comcast Business Class.
Happy 4th birthday wishes to Lane Abbott. It's from your big sister Bailey. Phillies lead 3-2, but the Cubs have them loaded with only 1 out here in the 5th. Cole Gillespie swings and misses. We do up 2nd in the 6th. This is most likely his final inning right now, just hanging on by his fingernails with this lead, trying to qualify for a win if he can get out of this jam. Murphy doubled to start the inning. Lake then singled. Castillo struck out. McDonald walked.
3 walks for the lead today. It's really out of the norm. Allen's playing for 2, Young tight to the line. There's a lot of room between 3rd and short for Gillespie.
In the air to center. Bernardina tries to get behind the ball. The throw is going to go to 3rd. It's cut off by Rollins. It's a sacrifice fly for Gillespie. Murphy in. It's 3-3.
Leadoff double pays off. 2nd RBI of the day for Gillespie.
Cody Ransom will bat for Chris Russin. Here comes Rich Doobie. A reminder tonight, catch a special edition of High School Lights on Comcast Sportsnet. Go inside the Week 1 action across Chicagoland as CSN brings you the best in high school football scores and highlights. High School Lights presented by Discount Tire tonight at 10:30 on Comcast Sportsnet. Well, Chris Russin could get a win if the Cubs would push across the go-ahead run here. 5 innings for him, 4 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned.
Cody Ransom 0 for 7 in his career against Cliff Lee with a couple of punch-outs.
Nothing in 2.
strikes, 2 outs. You got speed on the bases. Sometimes the manager likes to gamble a little bit in this situation. Problem is, if you make an out on the bases here, you've got the pitcher spot leading off the next inning.
I'll tell you, Lake on that throw to first took one big step toward the plate, and he might have made it. This would have been fun.
Yep. He's over there talking it over with David Bell.
Two strikes on the struggling Cody Ransom. Not getting a lot of consistent ABs these days. Makes it a lot tougher to come out of a slump.
Yeah, he went into a funk, and then Murphy came up and got red hot.
Swing and a miss to end the inning. Cubs do tie it, so at the end of 5, it's 3-3.
Wrigley Field before the summer is over. Next month, the Cubs play games against Miami, Milwaukee, Atlanta, and finish out the home season against the Pirates. To purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. Winding down the final sprint to the finish. Carlos Villanueva comes in support of Chris Russin. 2-8, 444. The earned run average. 8.91 here for the Phils.
Roger Bernardina, strike one.
Change. Carlos last pitched on Monday, the opener of the Dodgers series. Worked 2 innings in relief, allowed 2 hits and a run. Home run to Hanley Ramirez.
So we'll flip to Villanueva, and they get Bernardina to rewrite the lyrics to the parody song. Now it's the Phillies center fielder named Bernardina.
Go ahead.
No,
you got more?
No, I don't have anything more than that.
Well, you got something to work with.
This is Pete Orr. By the way, you mentioned Bobby Orr, no relation. Yesterday, there was a Maple Leafs fan who said, I thought you were referencing Colton Orr. No. Some hockey fans will know Colton Orr, but most sports fans in general, they know Bobby.
How's Colton Orr? Pretty good player?
He's a heavyweight. He'll break your face if you look at him the wrong way on the ice.
Is he a goon?
I think that term is kind of frowned upon in the National Hockey League these days.
The Hanson brothers?
They were goons. One and two.
Orr's been a good pinch hitter in his career.
Gets past and through that hole on the left side. It should single for Orr.
Yeah, coming into this game, a career .272 batter in the pinch. It's well above average. Quiet approach, punches it the other way.
Series for Michael Young. 6 hits, 8 at bats.
4 singles, a double, and a triple. Really good again, middle away.
Mentioned we'll see the Miami Marlins starting Monday. Believe it's Wednesday when All-Star 21-year-old Jose Fernandez will pitch for Miami. Joe Fracero, who covers the Marlins for MLB.com, reporting that Fernandez will get 2 more starts and no more than 12 innings, and then he'll be shut down. Certainly interested in watching him pitch in person.
We've had this run of former Cy Young Award winners, and Fernandez, we may see a future Cy Young Award winner. He's really, really something.
Oh, and 2 on Young. Here it is.
Young looks like he's cheating inside in this at bat. We figured the Cubs are going to see how he's opening up that front side. He was clearly looking in there. He had no chance. At the mercy of the umpire there. He's hit the ball so well the other way in this series. He figures it's just a matter of time before the Cubs try to pitch him in a little bit.
Similar lines for the starters. Each went 5. Lee gave up 9 hits, Russin 4, but the runs the same, 3, 2 earned. Full count, 3-2. Rollins on deck. Or runs, and a foul out of play. Kyle Kendrick, 10 and 11. He'll go for the Phillies tomorrow afternoon. Jake Arrieta, 1-1 for the Cubs.
Looks like being a wave out there, a guy who can execute a game plan. They've adopted this pitch away, play away approach with Young. And Gillespie is as far on the offside as you're going to see a corner outfielder for a non-pitcher.
There goes yet again, and another foul.
And Young likes to swing the bat. He doesn't walk that much, doesn't strike out much either. I don't think I've ever seen a corner outfielder that far toward the line on the outfield side.
I would agree. Running. Line drive, caught by Lake, easy double play.
How about that deployment?
It worked out really well. He hit it hard, but lined into that shift. And the Cubs get out of the sixth. And it's 3-3.
Climate. Consider becoming a PNC Club of Chicago member for the 2014 season. The Premier team is inviting interested parties to come on a game day and experience the club's luxurious atmosphere and amenities that include all-you-can-eat food, top-shelf drinks, and free parking. Call and make an appointment today. For more information, visit Cubs.com/Premier.
Zach Minor went an inning and a third yesterday. Gave up a hit, no runs. And works the 6th here this afternoon.
So good stuff from Minor yesterday. 93, 94 miles an hour with the fastball. Real good changeup. 9 games with the big club this year. No wins, no losses. A 3.14 ERA.
Fly ball well hit. Deep center field. Starlin Castro with a home run. And the Cubs lead 4-3.
Number 8 for Castro is a big one. A go-ahead home run in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Ford home run replay. Minor threw him a cookie. Castro ate it. Trying to go down and away right over the heart of the play, but good to see him jump on that fastball.
His first homer in exactly 1 month. July 31st. His last one.
Seattle?
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
So the Cubs have their first lead of the day. Phillies have led 3 different times.
Well, this is more times than not, when you see the home run, you see the errant location being the key. A hanging breaking ball or a misplaced fastball.
Back-to-back hits to start the inning. Darwin Barney on for the 3rd time.
We talked a lot about the leg kick this year and how that sometimes gets in his way because it's a timing mechanism. And if your leg getting that front side down, the hands are just going to drift. You're not going to be able to explode through the baseball. That time he was able to get that front foot down and work against that front side.
Rizzo fouls off to the left. Too high, and it's 2-1. Three and one. Kind of really scuffling here. Gave up the leadoff homer to Castro. Barney swatted one in the center. Now 3-1 on Rizzo.
See if he challenges here. Ruiz wanted changeup. Minor wanted sinker.
Rough over, and he's got it in fair territory. Barney tagging and going halfway, and he decides to retreat. Foul near the Cubs dugout.
Hall of Famer Frank Robinson, 78 today.
Outside, 2-1.
Ever hear the story about Frank Robinson punching one of his pitchers?
No.
Yeah.
I have. As a player or a manager?
Managing Cleveland. And I can't remember the pitcher's name. I want to say Bob Boyd, but I could be wrong. And I probably shouldn't have told the punchline before I told the story, but anyway. Robbie sent him out to AAA towards the end of spring training, didn't make the club. Boyd popped off, thought it was a bad move. Kind of criticized Frank Robinson as a manager for doing it. It just so happened, as many clubs do, and more often back in the day, that Major League Club had an exhibition game scheduled with the AAA club early in the season.
Barney runs, tapped foul.
So, and pitcher X, Boyd or whoever it was pitching, and Robbie inserted himself into the game as a pinch hitter for the big league club. Popped up on the infield, rounded first base, jogging back to the dugout, crossed the mound, one-timed him, laid him out flat, and continued running back to the dugout.
Wow.
That's old school.
That, yeah. I think that would probably work these days, would it?
Oh, God, he'd be fined in an instant, fired, sent to therapy.
Ruiz reaching over, and no play. Battle the fans there for that foul pop. Well, list of recent Hall of Famers to jump into the manager's seat, including Frank Robinson, Ryan Sandberg.
Bill Chandin's had a long run in St. Louis. Maybe the most successful, at least in terms of winning percentage, the most successful ever was Walter Johnson. Back in the day, there was a lot of player managers. Frank Chance, the Cubs.
Rhino's the second person to go into the Hall of Fame as a Cub and then manage against the team after he was enshrined. Rogers Hornsby was the first. 15 Cubs Hall of Famers would manage against the Cubs at some point in their career. Thanks to Ed Hardig for that info. 2-2, and it's full, 3-2.
Yogi had a pretty good run, too, with the Yankees and the Mets to the World Series.
Yogi was your manager for a brief time.
Briefly, right? Yes. First called up in '84 with the Yanks.
Barney runs, Murphy pops. Foul territory, Young won't have a play.
Ted Williams managed, didn't have a lot of success. There's a theory, it may apply more to coaches than managers, that the Hall of Fame caliber players have a hard time relating to the everyday players because their skill set just doesn't match up, and they don't understand why a guy would struggle doing certain things.
Shallow left, Rollins with the best angle will get it in foul ground. Barney racing back to first. Time now for our AT&T tweet, and getting up close and personal with the JD. Hey, tell JD to stop throwing cards at me. Just somebody tweeted from.
There's Ivan DeJesus for you
from the ballpark.
Yeah,
you love the baseball card set. I just give you my packets when I get them.
Yeah, I appreciate that because we were running low for a while, and it's the way I check the wind every day to see if I can get one down to the playing field during BP. And I can tell you, based on the baseball cards, the wind's been blowing in a lot more than it's been blowing out. I've had more leave the booth and go up on top of the stadium than I've gotten down to the field.
Barney runs. Here's the throw by Ruiz. It gets into center. Barney, however, is going to have to stay there. He didn't see it.
Chance to pad the lead a little bit. Ruiz has that ball sail on him. Barney gets into scoring position. Darwin with a nice day. Double walk, single, stolen base. Only time they got him out, he had a line drive to center field.
The outside corner on Lake, 1-1. Junior 2 out of 3. The out was a line out. Well, I think I'm retired from flipping cards. I did it once earlier this year. There was a guy right below us in the upper deck, and he wanted a card, so I just kind of flicked it out of the booth, and it landed right in his hands.
Yeah, well, yeah,
I got to retire.
You don't want to mess with that. After an inning in the third yesterday, Minor having to work hard here this afternoon. This is pitch number 25 for him.
To the limit, 3-2. Castillo on deck. He's been working deep counts throughout the day. Got a 4-3 lead as a result of a Starlin Castro leadoff homer this inning. Ball 4.
Rich Doobie again. Yeah, the approach by the Cubs today has been very, very good. Base runners in every inning, a lot of traffic.
Come out to Wrigley tomorrow, September 1st. Watch the Cubs host the Phillies at 1:20. The first 5,000 children 13 and younger will get a Cubs die-cast car, compliments of Toyota. And after the game, the first 1,000 kids can run the bases. For more information or to purchase tickets, visit Cubs.com. First and second, and it's Castillo. Ball 1. The homer by Castro, the Cubs' 89th of the year here at Wrigley. Only the Orioles have hit more in their home ballpark. Russell is the lefty on the right. Parker is the righty on the left. Former Cub Gary the Sarge Matthews will conduct the stretch. And he will be our guest in the top of the 7th. We'll be broadcasting with the Phillies. They picked a good day for him to sing while the Phillies are here. Would have been a little inconvenient if the Phillies were in LA and they asked Sarge to sing here. They're smart that way.
That was good planning. Miner wanted to call on that changeup, didn't get it. I think Sarge will, let's get some runs.
Part of him will want to, and he's got to be politically correct wearing the Phillies shirt. And his move on the 3-2, bounce to third. On the short hop, Young will get the out. It's been a good series for that guy, Starlin Castro, with 4 extra base hits, including a go-ahead home run. It's 4-3 Cubs. London get revved up for the Sochi Games by reliving Team USA's greatest moments from the Summer Olympics. Tomorrow, your chance to see Michael Phelps break history one more time. Watch the men's swimming finals as CSN returns to London tomorrow night at 7. And the Sarge is with us. And I had to walk about, 12 feet from the Phillies TV booth.
Not very far.
Great to see you back.
Hey, thanks for having me in.
Hey, Sarge.
Jim,
how you doing? Well, it's always fun for you to be back here at Wrigley Field.
Great venue. Like it when that wind is blowing out.
See, I knew it. A hitter, I said it when the game started. I said, it's comfortable. I like it. Hitters don't like it when the wind blows in.
Well, the thing is, though, here, if you hit line drives, they'll get out of here.
Yeah, that's right. Keep it under the wind. That's always a good approach, right? Regardless of the weather.
I always think you need to be more of a line drive hitter. Try and stay up the middle if you can. Don't become one-dimensional.
Up the middle's tougher these days with all the shifting.
Yeah, well, that's because J-Roll just continues to pull that ball. And they usually will play to your strength.
2-1 the count on Jimmy Rollins. I just can't believe it's been 40 years since you were the Rookie of the Year. Because you look like you'd have been about 8 years old.
Had to bring that up, huh? I'm actually really proud, too, though, of that Rookie of the Year, and especially
you should be, yeah.
with the guys that I broke in with. Mike Smith was in that that era or that particular year there, along with Dave Winfield and Madlock. So to be the cream of the crop with those guys there, and I remember it like it was yesterday. Mike Smith had struck out so many times that year, and I got lucky, hit 300. And he was there, $1.89, and he said, hey, you better be lucky you're hitting 300 or else I'd win the Rookie of the Year. But, hey, what are you going to do?
Pitching change. We're going to keep it, though, because we've got the Sarge with us. James Russell will come in for Carlos Villanueva. So we had a shot of Zonk, we had a shot of Rhino, you, all teammates with the Phillies, teammates with the Cubs. Still kind of a close-knit group among the former players.
Absolutely. I mean, it's just that way. I mean, we talked to them all, from Bob Denier and Jody Davis again. But, you know, with Keith being right here, and then also, I mean, Rhino, is just almost like old times when you come back here to Wrigley Field.
Absolutely. I said yesterday, where's Larry Boa? He's the only one missing from that Phillies / Cubs group back in the early to mid 80s. Special for Rhino to be back here as well.
Boy. Tell you, he's worked really, really hard, and one of the things too about the club there with Philly, they really respect him. And I think for me, I mean, when you're with these players of today, you have to have their respect in order to get the best ability out of those guys there, Jim. I don't know what you think about it, but it's a tough go these days.
Well, it helps to have the credibility he has because of his playing career. You know, you don't always need it, but it certainly helps to have achieved what he has done. And now, you know, now it's in his hands to see how he handles it going forward. I mean, he's in a tough spot in that he's replacing, you know, the winningest manager in the history of the Phillies, the guy that brought them a World Series. But I got the sense when we were in Philadelphia that there were a lot of folks that kind of felt like it's time to move on. That, you know, so it's not like, you know, people were beating down the door saying Charlie must stay. So to that end, it's, you know, it's a little bit easier for him.
You're right. It's interesting. After he ended up getting fired, it was almost an uproar in Philadelphia with the fans. And there can be a little bit tough at times. The bottom line, though, with any particular city is you got to be able to win.
So Honda call to the pen. Here is James Russell. And a lot of these Cubs big leaguers played for Rhino in the Cubs minor league system. So it's Russell against Utley. And a called strike. One out here in the seventh. I want to talk about on base percentage because you always had a good one. Your career high, I think, was .410. Is that a stat that you talked about much as players back then? I know today a much bigger deal is made about plate discipline, taking walks. You were that type of player throughout your career, but was it a conscious effort on your part, or is that just your general approach?
Actually, I never learned that until I got around Mike Schmidt, which was late, and he was letting me know how valuable it was to be able to go on and walk. I went up there to actually swing the bat. I was trying to get a hit. I didn't even have walking in the back of my mind.
This play by Andy Lane, the Cubs bullpen catcher. Well, I think that's what the Cubs now are really preaching. They're calling it selective aggressiveness because they don't want their hitters to think passively.
No.
Right?
Well, I mean, it's very simple. I mean, the pitchers won't pitch to guys that can really swing the bat. For instance, a Cabrera. He'll walk a lot because they don't want to pitch to him.
Utley hops it up, and Murphy in foul ground will make the catch. 2 outs. Is he the best? He's the best hitter in the game today, right? Miguel Cabrera?
Without a doubt. And this kid here, he came hitting from day one, actually taking Lowell's spot there, who was playing third base for the Florida Marlins at that time.
Another pitching change here, so Russell did his job. We're going to take a break. Sarge has got some help, some harmonizers. Come on in, guys, to sing the stretch. A Honda call to the pen coming up. up for the Phillies, and right-hander Blake Parker is on.
And Blake 1-2, a low ERA, 2.15 on Wednesday in L.A. Worked the 8th inning, struck out the side, was really crisp in that outing.
All right, Sarge, tell us who you have with us today.
Well, I have two of my grandsons that have actually sang this with me before. This is Denver right here. And Dawson doesn't have his hat on, although he said he ended up falling and bumping his head. But little boys will do that.
It's great to have them here with you.
And they know the words.
Of course. 2 balls, no strikes. Strike called, 2-1. We haven't seen the Braves in a while, Sarge. We'll see them on the final homestand. We didn't. Let's see. We saw them the first week of the season.
Yeah.
Are they better than the Dodgers?
Oof, not right now. Not for me.
Driven in the air to left. Stretch time with the Sarge.
Today's guest conductor for Take Me Out to the Ball Game, former Cub Gary Matthews.
All right, Cub fans, back in town again. I got my 2 grandsons, Denver and Dawson. We're going to sing your favorite song. Okay, guys. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the ground. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if we ever get back. Well, it's root for the. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Good job, guys.
Suns, the 7th inning stretch. Cesar Jimenez is on for the Phillies, a left-hander.
Yeah, we saw their other left-handed bullpen option yesterday, Diekman, an extreme hard thrower. Jimenez, that's not the case. He's more of a finesse guy. Fastball clocked at 89. It's 9 times for the big club this year. Spent the bulk of the season with the Lehigh Valley team in AAA. The Iron Pigs.
Yeah, that is their nickname. You're right.
It's a good one.
A good home run call would be, and this little piggy went wee, wee, wee all the way home. Talk about putting together an inning. Dale with a lead new He was going to use Strop in the 8th, Gregg in the 9th. So Villanueva got the first out of the 7th, Russell the 2nd, Parker the 3rd. Pieced it together. Flare down the right field line. That ball's going to land foul.
He was able to bring Russell in to get Utley, the dangerous left-handed hitter, and then Parker for Ruiz. And he's worn out left-handed pitching this year, so he didn't want to leave Russell in for that matchup.
Minor, the pitcher of record for the Phillies, giving up that Castro home run. Villanueva, the pitcher of record for the Cubs. Jimenez 3-2 as he works to McDonald. A kick, the pitch, and a foul.
Slider and a change to go along with that 89, 90 mile an hour fastball that he features. Previous big league time with the Mariners in 06, 08, and 2011.
Lifted to right, where John Mayberry will make the grab.
Construction for the 2014 spring training home of the Chicago Cubs is nearly complete. The new Mesa facility will have features reminiscent of Wrigley Field with a unique Arizona feel. Fans can place a $100 refundable deposit to secure their priority seating for season tickets. The seating selection process begins this fall. For details, visit Cubs.com/Mesa.
Saw some recent photos, and it's going to be terrific. Can't wait. Gillespie fouls out of play. He's knocked in 2 today with a single and a sac fly.
Good change. Anytime you see a left-handed reliever pitching in the big leagues with an 89 mile an hour fastball, you can assume good changeup.
Especially if he's not just a loogie.
Right. If he's a loogie, he's probably got a pretty good breaking ball. If he's facing right-handed hitters, he's probably got a pretty good change.
On the ground and shuffling to his left is Michael Young. Brian Bogusevic will bat for Parker. Given to center. Bernardina drifting and catching, and the inning is over. Cesar Jimenez with a 1-2-3-7. Pedro Strop in the 8th. Cubs lead 4-3. And it's Pedro Strop here in the 8th.
Pedro 2-4 with a 473. This is his 54th appearance. That's with both Baltimore and the Cubs. Numbers far better since putting on a Chicago uniform. Two-thirds of an inning in the game yesterday. No hits, no runs, no walks, a strikeout.
Darren Ruff leading off for the Phils. Takes ball 1. Mentioned the Yankees a winner via the shutout today, 2-0 over the Orioles. Ivan Nova with his first career shutout. He gave up just 3 hits.
Hmm. 95 with movement back to back at the knees.
Back-to-back bases loaded walks. The key in the Blue Jays 4-2 win over the Royals. Into right. Gillespie lays out, makes a catch. Cole Gillespie with a big play.
He's
1 out.
Driven in 2 today, and he just saved a base hit. And if it gets by him, a whole lot more. But he gambled, and it paid off. Sinking line drive off the bat of Darren Ruff. Good break. Great play.
Mayberry 0 for 3. On the corner.
Phillies top of the 7th and the Cubs bottom of the 7th. The only half innings in this ball game that did not feature a base runner.
Off the instep to the top of that left foot.
Cubs have left 11. Phillies have left 7. Barry taking some time, letting the pain dissipate a little bit. There's Rosenberg, the right-hander.
He got the win yesterday.
John Mayberry Jr., a Stanford man. Outstanding collegiate career. He was a poli-sci major. Wonder if that makes him a clubhouse lawyer.
It's not what you'd want to be. There's a bad term in baseball. Line and caught by Murphy. Now the box score may look like Strop has dominated this Phillies lineup here in the 8th, but he's given up a couple of hard hit balls and some help from his defense.
Yeah, you know, somebody in that Philly dugout screaming, "You got us popping up." Cubs defenders have been well positioned today. Gillespie had to come hard to get that play. Murphy, Johnny on the spot, and Lake on Young back in the 6th with that off-field shift on.
He's 6, but it missed to Franzen. Vic Peavy will face his former team tonight. White Sox at Boston. John Danks goes for the White Sox.
Peavy threw a complete game last time out. Beat the Dodgers.
Who again is it for the White Sox?
Danks.
You're welcome.
Nothing of it.
Brenly used to do that to me, and I bit every time. The little things that make us laugh.
Especially this time of year.
2-0 on Franzen. Here's the pitch. Bounced past Strop and right to Barney. 1-2-3-8 for Pedro Strop. Should try to add on. Leading 4-3. For the Phillies, he got the win, his first decision of the season yesterday.
He's got the top of the order to contend with, and it's the top of the order that's been good. Castro and Barney really swinging it well here today, and much tougher on right-handed hitters than lefties.
Time for Xfinity high-speed action. Bang. Starlin Castro's first homer in a month, and a go-ahead blast in the 6th of Zach Minor. Oh, 0-1. Kevin Gregg getting loose for the 9th. Cubs have dropped 17 of their last 20 here at home, but they've got a late lead here today.
Wind seems to be picking up some. A little more weather blowing into the area. There's Kevin Gregg. Wouldn't mind a little insurance. Big depth on that slider from Rosenberg. Those both slider and a curveball. Fastball 92 to 95.
Stays alive. Still 2-2. $36,410. The paid crowd today. Ruiz hit a couple of times in the last few innings.
Amazing how the game has evolved. Huh? Way back in the day, pitchers caught barehanded. Stood way back behind the plate, caught the ball on a bounce. First guy to show up with a catcher's mitt of any form was picked on for not being manly.
Got to run.
Probably should run on that one.
Got to run. Ball was caught in foul ground, but by about a foot by Michael Young, and Starlin was already walking back toward the dugout. One away here in the Cubs' eighth.
He's got handcuffed. Two-seamer at 95. Yeah, it may seem futile for a base runner on a pop-up like that to go down the line, but it's just what the situation calls for. If that ball were to fall fair and you're walking back to the dugout, that can never happen.
One and two to Barney. Looking ahead to the Phillies' ninth, Bernardina, pinch hitter, and Young due up.
13th round of the 2008 draft for Rosenberg out of Louisville.
Golf to left. Caught out there by Ruff.
one last chance for Rizzo. Hopefully.
0 for 3 with a walk. In the dirt. Ball 1. Sun has gone away. Lots of cloud cover. Nothing threatening, however. Where were you when the skies opened late in the afternoon, early evening hours yesterday?
I hadn't made it home. We watched the light show from our condo. It's pretty impressive. Did you get caught out in it?
Yes, I did.
Were you able to take cover?
I was driving at the time. A little hail. No damage, fortunately. One and 2.
Rosenberg did a lot of closing, picking up the number of saves, working his way through the Phillies minor league system.
Deep left, but Ruff has it. The inning is over. Here comes the ninth. Kevin Gregg will try to save it. 4-3 Cubs. Paul Gillespie robbing Darren Ruff in the top of the 8th.
Such a difficult catch when you're coming in like that because you don't have an angle. So you're diving headlong toward the baseball. Sometimes you see a play like that, the ball gets jarred loose. And of course, if you misplay it and goes by you, it's probably 3 bases. But he made a spectacular catch. He's also driven in 2 today. The Cubs are going to close one out here with Kevin Gregg. 2 and 4. 4 came yesterday.
Roger Bernardina lifts in the air to left. It's Darnell McDonald.
Good start. 1 pitch, 1 out. Bernardina got things started yesterday off Kevin. He was hit by a pitch, stole the base, and scored the winning run. An RBI single by Michael Young. Dominic Brown, just his 4th pinch hit appearance, 3rd in the league in home runs.
Battling a sore Achilles. It's on the right foot. well enough to pinch hit. One and two.
Kevin will be trying to stay away from his power. Stay down and away. If you come in, come off the plate. He likes it. Left-handed hitters, he likes to throw that two-seamer. He starts at the hip and then runs back to the corner. Inherent danger in that pitch, though, if it leaks back out over the plate. A little safer going down and away.
Got him. Swing and a miss, strike three, 2 outs.
Brown off the bench. A little tardy on the 90-mile-an-hour heater.
Michael Young keeps the Phillies alive with his 3rd hit today and his 7th of the series. He's been a machine.
Pretty much in the same direction he went last time. This one not hit as hard and able to dump it in front of Junior Lake. He was no doubt playing deeper in this situation, protecting a 1-run lead in the 9th.
Jimmy Rollins. 2 outs, so runner on. It's trying to hold on to a 4-3 win. Greg set at the belt, and here's the pitch. Backdoor breaking ball over the plate. Strike one.
Yep. Never too young to introduce a little math.
One and two the count.
Rollins a little frustrated, had a pitch there, couldn't do anything with it.
Never gets old. Comes well under 500, but great atmosphere here at Wrigley. Outside, 2-2. Everybody standing. On the ground, diving stop, Anthony Rizzo to end it. Cubs win 4-3.
Greg right back off the deck after suffering the loss yesterday. His typical aggressive self finishes off the Phillies here in the 9th. And heck of a play here by Rizzo, who did not have a good day, had the error earlier in the ballgame, but here a measure of redemption. Quick reaction, puts it away, Cubs win. Young would have made his way to third base had that ball gotten to right field.
Time for our GMC player of the game, Starlin Castro, with his first homer in a month, and it was a game winner.
Got a fastball leaked out over the plate. It was up a little.